We have to talk about war crimes. World War II is often painted as the good war, but what we mean is that it was the lesser of two evils. From the moment the conflict began, it was seen by all sides as necessary to win, not just the war itself, but the peace. And that peace was won through NATO, the European Union, and the United Nations. It is tempting to see these outcomes as inevitable, but World War I also had victories, but these only led to more bloodshed. The Germans too would have their victories in the Second World War, victories that stunned the world and shook it. But these victories would lead to Auschwitz, the ravine at Babi Yar, and ultimately the complete destruction of the German nation. We need to talk about the way we look at strategy. When I first played Cauldrons of War Barbarossa, I was expecting to play the role of a senior military leader. I was expecting to make choices about operational priority, about what army group to reinforce, hypothetical questions about when to take ground and when to give ground. But that's not the choice I was presented with in this game. The first choice that I was presented with was a moral one, a real one. The choice of whether to pass an illegal order called for by my own commander-in-chief. A choice so basic it seemed we would never even need to ask. But this would not be the only such choice in the game. Choices where I found myself weighing principle against operational need, in a situation where the penalty for wrongdoing was slight and far from immediate. What's more, even if I tried to choose the more moral option, people still died. Sometimes evil would happen without my input, leaving me as the commander merely to turn the pages, push the buttons, and read the reports of what was going on beyond my influence. On occasion, I found myself justifying my crimes as acts of liberation. I justified them as necessary because I hoped that they would lead to an elusive victory, thus giving purpose and meaning to the suffering and loss that I had myself overseen. I told myself that these were the enemy, that they had brought this fate upon themselves, thus abnegating my own personal responsibility. I told myself that they would die no matter what, so why even try to save them? But isn't that exactly how the other side views it? As an emergency measure carried out during a crisis to ensure the ultimate survival? What is really being fought over? Does it even matter? Each side strives for power over the other, the power to destroy. But power to fight comes from the will to resist. And do the short-term advantages gained really pay off in the long run? Stalin broke the Ukraine long before Hitler did, but this merely laid the seeds for future wars in the Donbass and in Crimea. Total wars are brutal and cruel. Perhaps some of it was necessary, but how much was necessary? Was this ever something someone in a staff office dispassionately analysed before the war? I think not. The sin committed was one of omission and assumption, and the only moral choice was not to choose at all.